This is the case study of Daisy Pony. I love it when the pony's name is Daisy because they're always very cute. She's a 21-year-old Shetland type pony. So this is when I met her on 12/9 in 2019. It was difficult to watch her walk, so we did not make her walk any further than this. Even for the sake of videoing and for the sake of documentation, she came out of the stall. We recorded a couple steps. She fell forward on those pasterns, and I said, all right, that's enough. The biggest problem she had was that her left front foot was stuck in this position. So she couldn't straighten that pastern, really her DIP joint, more than this. You know, after manipulating her leg and manipulating her foot, I realized she can't straighten this limb. And so you think, okay, well, what's the most important thing I need to do? Give her something stable to stand on. So we started assessing this foot and just taking pictures of it. It was, very columnar in shape, and she had damage to the front of it from falling forward on it for so long. Her sole print, her footprint, her sole was not so complicated. It looked fairly normal, ironically, given that she didn't stand on it. So if you put the radiograph over the picture, this is what it looks like. You can see that bull nose. You can see, look where the navicular bone is. It's rotated also with the coffin bone, and it's all the way up in the middle of P2. So I'm going to go back to those hoof guidelines, and there was really not a lot that I could do mechanically to get her to load this heel. Yes, I could put a toe extension on her, but I felt like that would make her very painful because she had such limited range of motion. She was so contracted in her soft tissue that if I tried to make her straighten it, there was no give to it. So I felt like leveraging on it would be a bad idea and actually could hurt her worse. So I looked at these goals and I said, all right, I'm going to trim her to these goals and we'll just see what we have. Here's the radiograph after the trim, and you can see she still has plenty of room in that foot, and I could have just left the heel longer. The problem is that, remember, this position is with her foot way out in front of her, and the second she brings it underneath herself, she didn't stand on the heel when she had a high heel. Why is she going to stand on the heel now? It's just going to make the problem worse. If I leave a high heel and shorten the length of the toe, it's going to knuckle her over even faster. So this was not something that I felt like I could fix mechanically. Here's that radiograph marked up. You can see that, we're fitting within our hoof guidelines. Again, if she stood on her bottom of her foot, her palmar angle isn't bad. It's probably actually a little bit too low at the moment in relation to her sole plane. But the breakover is still way too fast. She's still broken forward. None of that's changed. The sole plane of her foot didn't change that much because it wasn't very distorted. I got to straighten up the bars, gather the quarters a little bit. We helped the medial lateral balance a little bit. But really, the 50-50 ratio wasn't a problem to begin with, and it stayed in place for us. That was helpful. When you look at the back of the foot view, look at the heel bulbs and the back of the foot itself. We have that distorted foot on the left, and look how things changed on the right when I got rid of an excess amount of that foot. Even though she wasn't standing on the sole at all, and she still wasn't standing on the sole after I trimmed her, I was able to get rid of most of the distortion. So that was pretty exciting because I thought, hey, well, now we at least have a better foot to work with. So the vet I consulted with is Dr. Mark Donaldson, who's with Unionville Equine Associates in Oxford, PA. He was willing to go out to the rescue and see Daisy Pony. We talked about options, and we decided that the deep digital flexor tendon tenotomy was the only thing that we could do to try to get that leg to be able to straighten enough to be stable for any kind of quality of life. I'll hold her back. She really pushes forward, though. No, you may not push forward. Just wait. No, I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, it's better. Thanks. I can gently ask her if it's
So the landmarks that I use, we're going to go on the lateral aspect of the limb over the deep flexor tendon.
Okay.
We're going to go proximal to the digital flexor tendon sheath.
Mm-hmm.
And it probably goes higher than that, but I'm going to say about there.
Okay.
And I try to go distal to the check ligament insertion.
Okay.
So we are sort of pretty close to where that swelling is, which is why I was a little concerned about it. But there's the suspensory.
Mm-hmm.
There's superficial. So deep, we're going to basically cut right over the deep.
Okay.
At least maybe 1.5 inches
Okay.
laterally.
Okay.
And so we'll go through the skin, the patellar tendon, and then we'll do some dissection to isolate the deep and lift it up. So I can help do that too.
Okay.
Do it, or I can help. We'll go in behind, come up around, pick up the deep and exteriorize it from the wound.
Okay.
So that we're sure that we only have the deep. And then
And
we'll
nothing
just,
else.
yeah, and then we'll just sharply transect it and close it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna go, you're gonna go right from the bump, so.
Down
Yeah.
a little bit. Ready, people? Ready?
Great assistance from them. Looks really good.
That's it. We're in there. Good job, Gabby. First status here.
So I'm gonna sacrifice my left hand, it's gonna be dirty, I'm just saying that out loud, so that you don't grab other things with my left hand. Yeah, right hand's still clean. Are you on the right side there? Who's that?
Heather.
There we go. Now we're happy?
Yeah.
She's caught herself.
Very nice.
Yay.
Look at the gap.
Wow.
That's what we want to see, right?
That's awesome.
That's how much we're
So
getting.
cool.
We're getting a lot. Really, really well done. Good job, team.
Good job.
Do they have the scissors on?
I'm right behind you.
Okay. That's great. Thanks.
Sweet.
Wow.
That's probably good. That's exceptional.
Yeah, that's a gap.
I'm really pleased. Better than I expected.
Good.
You can see the way she's standing already is a little
Wow,
bit better.
she's standing already, huh?
You can imagine with this tendon sprung apart, it's going to fill in with scar tissue. And you want that scar tissue to be functional. And so we actually keep our horses that get this procedure done on small paddock turnout. We want them moving and we want the tendon healing in a functional place. This is not, so this is the foot after the tenotomy. You can see the sutures up there on her cannon bone. She is loading this heel and I did not change the trim at this point at all. We did actually put a toe extension on her with a little glue-on shoe, mainly because we just didn't want her to start knuckling over again. And she did have a splint and a standing wrap put on so that the leg wouldn't fold when she was laying down recumbent. We did not want her curling this leg up any more than we could prevent. So she actually stayed in this and it got changed periodically, and she was rehabbed this way for a while. This is how she worked right after she woke up from her surgery. You can see that she is just trying to figure out what the heck is going on with her left front leg. So she's going super slow, but she is upright and stable. Notice how she can walk on that foot now. So now the right front foot is actually more of her problem, which is amazing. But we didn't want to do both at the same time because we wanted to do one and let her adjust and then consider whether we wanted to do a tenotomy on the right one based on her comfort level. Look at her posture change. I mean, her back and her hips and everything were so sore from these front feet being so debilitated for so long. She was a mess. And just getting her angles better and giving her a stable support base to stand up on, look how nice and square she got, and that hump in her back went away and her pelvis angle changed completely. This is what her front feet looked like on April 16th. And then this is what her front feet looked like after where we started, 12/9/19, and then on 5/15/20, that's what that left front looked like. She's now getting turned out on a daily basis. She has friends. She acts like a normal pony. She's sassy. She has strong opinions. Everything a girl could ever want. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed her case study. I look forward to hearing your comments and questions.